Hey guys, I'm the bad guy.
Hi, I'm Greek legend Testicles.
And I'm Daraxus, Lord of the Underworld.
Welcome to SuperStuff.
SuperStuff, yeah!
Okay, so this special episode of SuperStuff is brought to you by Orbeez. Orbeez. We like them.
Don't misspell it, because it'll be orgies.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen Spiderman Far From Home, turn this podcast off right now and stop listening until you have seen Spiderman Far From Home, because this is a spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, we wouldn't want him to know that Spider-Man dies at the end of this movie.
Oh!
No, so you've been warned. You've been spoiler alert warned. Go see the movie. It is pretty good. We're not going to give any review until you've seen the movie, so we are going to cut to us reviewing Spider-Man Far From Home in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so this is going to be a special Super Stuff podcast reviewing the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, Spider-Man Far From Home. I have seen it twice, Tonray has seen it twice, and George has seen it once. Most recently, but once. So far, what are your guys' overall opinions of the movie? And then we'll start from beginning to end about scenes and stuff. So George, you can go ahead and start.
Well, so before I watched it, you looked me dead in the eyes, and you told me that it was better than Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's one of mine, too.
But having watched this movie, I think you might be right. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
It was very good.
It genuinely might be the best Spider-Man movie I've ever watched. And that's saying something, because there's like 12 of them now. But yeah, no, just genuinely, the whole relationship between, Peter Parker and MJ was just flawless, One of the big problems, one of the many, many problems of the Amazing Spider-Man movies was the chemistry between Andrew Garfield and, who was it? Was it Emma Stone who played?
Yeah.
Was just it was awful.
I felt like it was forced.
They couldn't have a conversation together and make it sound like a normal, actual couple. But with them, it's just every time MJ and Peter are talking, it really just feels like two high school people who have crushes on each other talking and communicating.
They had genuine chemistry, and the whole time you're watching, you're rooting for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I majorly felt that.
And I
majorly felt that.
It was great, and just it played their chemistry played a huge part in the film. So,
for anyone who can hear the rustling around, that's Legos. We're still playing with them.
Another one of my favorite things about the movie was the supporting cast is amazing. Yeah, all the other students, the teacher killed any time he had a line. I was crying laughing.
Oh, it was
he
great.
was hilarious. He was one of my favorite parts of Homecoming, and he probably had 5 or 6 lines. But he was fantastic. And Jake Gyllenhaal. Wow.
How... Now, see, the reason why I compare this movie to Spider-Man 2 is because... Okay, so the main reason why I compare the two is because I've always thought of Spider-Man 2 as one of just the best superhero movies ever. It's so spot on with the fight scenes and all that, and just everything. Really.
The character development.
Oh my god, Alfred Molina, I've always said, is the most accurate casting of any comic book villain ever, because he did Doc Ock such justice.
So perfectly.
Such relation and evil in the character. And I think as far as Spider-Man villains go, Jake Gyllenhaal has matched that. Because he perfected Mysterio.
Yeah. Starting out as that, when you first see him, you're like, okay, I get it. He's just kind of this boring, stoic superhero.
Yeah.
But then, obviously anyone who knows Mysterio knows that's not going to stay that way.
That's the thing.
And then when the reveal happens, and that scene with all the special effects and Mysterio just destroying Spider-Man is just one of the best looking scenes I've ever watched. It's just the most interesting.
What I really liked about this was, if you know Mysterio, if you know Spider-Man comics, you know that Mysterio is a persuasive, persuasive person that can
He's
get
a
you to do
master
anything.
manipulator.
But he's still evil. And
Yes.
in this movie, I was like, oh, they're just going to make Mysterio evil. But up until the point that they revealed that, I genuinely believed that they were going to make Mysterio a villain or a hero and completely turn it around. I actually thought that. And
I did too.
that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's really what I wanted. And it was hard to get me to do that, but they did it.
I will say one of the most interesting things about the way they've done this Spider-Man series, as compared to the original Spider-Man series, is that what they did with the original Spider-Man series is that they took the villains. They were good people, just had bad things happen to them, and it caused them to do what they had to do.
Yeah.
This, they're just bad.
Bad.
They're
Bad.
just bad.
This is bad, guys.
They're the bad guys.
Duh. No, but my overall thoughts of Spider-Man Far From Home are, I personally think it's one of the best MCU movies that has been released so far.
Absolutely.
I definitely think it's the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen.
I've never seen a movie deal so much with one character that never even made an appearance in the movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, literally, everywhere you look, Tony Stark. Tony Stark. Iron Man. Tony Stark.
I think that was another great thing that they did, was really, set up Spider-Man to be the future of the MCU and to be basically the future Tony Stark without shoving it down your throat too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't like...
That scene on the airplane, that literally almost brought tears to my eyes.
It
was
brought
so
tears
amazing.
to mine.
It was so good. So good.
I love the movie from start to finish. And there's a subplot point that we're going to talk about later on about a character that we think his parents could potentially be
Someone
very
crazy.
important in the future.
very
Yeah.
important in the
Very
future.
Somewhat
important.
crazy. But for now, let's start with a synopsis. Okay, so we open up at the school when they're doing the student news thing, which
another one of my favorite parts.
Oh,
from
God,
the
I
yeah.
think it was the perfect way to open up this movie.
with explaining the world,
Yeah.
and how everything is after everything that
Right,
happened.
it was a good
and then
tie-up.
also being absolutely hilarious.
It was a good comedic tie-up for
It was
everything
like-
that's happened.
He's like, shit got crazy. It was just,
It was wild. It was crazy. It was wild. And then she goes, "You can't call somebody." He goes, "It's a scholastic school. We'll be fine."
But
And then next, they go. I think the next scene is them like in the classroom, and he's talking about his plan to woo MJ. Which I actually wanted to point out, there wasn't really anything about his relationship with MJ before this movie. In Homecoming,
They were just very good friends.
well, not even very good friends, just kind of acquaintances that
Yeah.
went on trips together. In Homecoming, he didn't really have a thing for her. We didn't even know that her name was MJ until the end of the movie.
exactly.
which I thought was
I thought it was cool.
that got me.
But we didn't really even get any touch on their relationship until this movie started. Even in like Civil War, in Endgame, in Infinity War, in any of the movies that Spider-Man's been in, there's been nothing with MJ, which is cool, is fine. But like even in Homecoming, he was after that one chick. Did she just drop off the face of the earth?
Yeah,
She
she
left.
did.
She
She
had to
left.
move
Remember,
away.
because her dad
That's
got arrested.
right. That's right.
Because her dad was, a super
Vulture.
villain.
Yeah. And speaking of Vulture,
What was her name? Liz.
I want to touch that.
You want to touch him?
Yes, I want to touch.
I'd
on
touch
that.
Michael Keaton, too.
Some people have brought up to me that they don't like the inaccuracies with Mysterio being like a young guy, and I was like, you do realize that Michael Keaton, like the character that he played, was like canonically like maybe late 40s, and Vulture in the comics is like a 79-year-old
He's a very.
man.
In the early versions, he looks like he should be just walking around with a cane.
He's a very, very old man. Very old man. However, I think that they're setting up a lot of Sinister Six vibes because of, the Vulture's in prison with the Scorpion. I'm pretty sure everyone knows
Who's the
that.
Scorpion?
That was the dude with
in-cre-
the tattoos all over his
the
face.
end credit scene when he was talking
Oh,
in
sorry,
prison
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
guy.
He was
and then
on the ship scene too.
It's the guy who says, "What's Spider-Man's real name?" And he's like, "I have no idea." It's the guy that he tells that to, and he's got a big
Oh.
scorpion on his face.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm pretty sure that's Scorpion. Like it was pretty
It's
obvious.
the same name as the comics.
Yeah,
that's why
it was pretty obvious that he was the Scorpion. However, we've been introduced so far to 3 major Spider-Man villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
If you count Scorpion 4.
Well, if you count Shocker 4.
Absolutely count Shocker.
You have to count Shocker, because Shocker actually
Shocker
called himself the Shocker.
Yeah, Shocker is a big villain, and I don't really think they're going to make him part of the Sinister Six, but I think they definitely could.
I think what they could do with him is just do what they always do with him in the video games and have him be a part of it, but
like
just have him get his ass kicked in like 2 seconds.
Kind of like in the Spider-Man video game.
Yeah.
He wasn't really a big deal, but he was
like a
there.
henchman.
He's there to get his ass kicked.
He was kind of like a pre-boss to Kingpin.
He's like, who's the one guy in the Netflix Marvel Universe? Turk.
Turk, yes.
Who is literally just there to get interrogated.
Yeah. George and I were talking, and we think that it would be awesome, and there's actually time, because I think there's going to be a little while before the next Spider-Man movie comes out.
I think there will be.
But
I think they're going to do a lot of Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff before they do Spider-Man.
George and I were talking, and we want so bad
Craven.
Well, not Craven. Vincent D'Onofrio to be Kingpin.
Yes.
Because he has killed it
Yeah.
on Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
And to have him come over to the MCU, because I don't... Like I said earlier, Michael Clark Duncan was a great Kingpin in Daredevil. But
I don't think he's going to play it again, though.
May he rest in peace.
I'm so sorry.
May he rest in peace.
But, no, Vincent D'Onofrio is killing it, and I think he would make an awesome Kingpin to bring into the MCU.
It would be like
something really quick. I think that this whole playing with Legos while we're doing a podcast thing is kind of... We're keeping this.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's nice.
go
I like
ahead.
it.
Go
I like
ahead.
it. But okay, so
We're
I
gonna
was
do
just
this forever. Keep going.
I was just gonna say, there's the at the end of season 3 of Daredevil, he's back in prison. So I don't know what you would do to get him. Maybe have him like get to the end of his sentence, and then maybe he moves over into Queens and starts trying to slowly, because he's always focused on Hell's Kitchen. And that's only if you want to do it and make it like continue with the Netflix universe and confirm that it is,
That would be cool.
and confirm in the movies that it's there.
Or say that like he just bought the Daily Bugle or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
somehow
he bought something
implying
down there, because you have to, Hell's Kitchen was what tied all of those guys together. So
Yes.
we got to figure out a way to get him out of there, or maybe he went there to lay low.
Now, if you were to take the Defenders from the TV, like if you think the Defenders would be moving over to the MCU, would you keep the cast?
I would keep.
I would absolutely keep Luke Cage. Absolutely keep Daredevil, because Charlie Cox is an absolutely fantastic Matt
The other
Murdock.
two, I would not be disappointed if they switched them out.
I'd say if I had to pick one, definitely Iron Fist. Nothing against that actor, because I know he's a good actor.
No,
but
I think he got the character right. But I would really like to see an Asian guy be Iron Fist.
And
I
there
would
was
really,
that
really
show
like.
was just not.
Well, see,
It wasn't
if
great.
Season 2 was amazing.
No, season 2 was great. Season 2 was really
I never
good.
finished it.
That's why no one ever saw it, because season 1 was so bad. But
That's
season
so
2 was
bad.
really good. Now, if they do Shang-Chi in the MCU, I would like to see Iron Fist in that movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
Anyway, getting back to Spider-Man, after he explains his plan to MJ and stuff, then they're going to Europe,
no, to Ned.
I completely,
yeah.
I completely forgot we were
doing a Spider-Man
the plot.
podcast. Yeah, then they go to Europe.
Can we? This is in line with the movie. Can we talk about how Ned says, "Hey, let's go to Europe and be bachelors," and then he gets booed up by this
He
chick.
gets cuffed.
That was, I love Ned.
That's
Ned's a great guy in the
literally
chair.
epitomized relationships back in the day when I was in school.
Yeah.
Like, we're going on a field trip. Oh, well, we're going to
Start talking together for like 5 minutes, and then boom, you're dating.
We're dating.
I also I knew as soon as they started dating, I was like, by the time they get back home, they'll be broken up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Guaranteed.
Do you want to play Beast Slayer?
Well, and I love that.
No.
I love. Can we also talk about how Customs didn't say shit to Spider-Man when they opened his suitcase, and his suit was there?
I could get it. You're not. People are. I don't know. I guess they wouldn't be like, oh, this guy's Spider-Man. They'd be more inclined to be like, oh, this guy's a cosplayer.
Yeah.
Because also Spider-Man, was gone for years, so people probably forgot about him.
Yeah. People were probably like, yeah, well... And then he wasn't really even super popular when he was around, you know?
What was the Night Monkey? The name that they called him on the news and everything?
Night Monkey.
No, it's like a European ripoff version. I was actually reading about him. It's not him.
But I do love... Another thing I love that they have stayed away from is killing Uncle Ben again. Like, I'm so glad they didn't beat...
They were just like, he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't touch on the story. I'm glad they just kind of left it because...
That's another reason why I love that scene where Tony and Peter meet for the first time in his room. It's just so perfect because it's like Tony's like just like nonchalantly asking him all these questions, and Peter's like kind of like rushing to answer, but Tony's not really listening. He doesn't really care. Mm-hmm. He just wants to know, why he's. And then there's that classic at the end where he's like, when you have these powers and you don't do anything with them, the bad things happen because of you.
They didn't exactly say with great power comes great responsibility,
that's
kind of what they said.
Yeah, that's like definitely a Spider-Man line,
But I do love, like, Mysterio's backstory. He played him like a fiddle. Told him he was from another dimension.
Which, I mean, and I love how they put that in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because then people are like, oh, wow, they're adding multiple dimensions,
but
and people are so focused on that.
Spoiler alert, there's one canonic universe in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I do like how they called it Earth 616,
I do, too. I really do. I really, really like that.
I have something that I want to talk about, but it's also kind of jumping the gun a little bit.
Go ahead.
It was talking about the extra scene. The 2 extra scenes.
Oh, well, we'll get to that.
Okay, but we'll
get to that.
The 2 extra scenes for...
the end scenes.
Now, I'm actually a little upset. I thought they were going to do Sandman, Hydra Man, and Molten Man, but they did the Elementals instead. I think it made sense for them to do that, but if you look at the Lego sets, they have Sandman, Molten Man, and Hydra Man as the Far From Home
what
sets.
What I do like about that is because Sandman is, one of my favorite
I think
villains
the
of all time.
only good thing about Spider-Man 3
is
that character was
and
perfect.
that I can't remember the
Thomas
actor's
Hayden
name.
Church.
Yeah, that's who it was.
His
that was a
dynamic
beautiful
characterization and the CGI for that character, absolutely perfect. Sandman's performance in that movie was perfect. The rest of the movie was garbage.
And just like Doc Ock,
yep,
he was a good person.
He perfected it.
He was a good person. He just had he was just
terrible luck.
Yeah, just really bad luck, and he was trying to get money to heal his daughter who was sick. And I love that they did that, and he killed it. But with Mysterio, you wholeheartedly believe that he is good. Like you said, I wholeheartedly believed he was going to be good. I thought he was from another dimension.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought the movie did very well was kind of like have little hints.
Yeah.
Well, like with, what was it? Was it when he was fighting the Magna guy, when he shot the web at it and that metal piece ripped off and it, like, flew everywhere and the camera just kind of shows it and kind of pans to it?
Yeah, I like that. It was like, well, because when we were watching, I heard you verbalize the words, wait a minute, what was that?
Yep.
And then I was like, shh.
Well, there was the first thing that happened. I think there was one thing that happened during the Hydra Man fight.
Yeah.
When, I can't remember, something with the web and it getting, like, bounced off, and I looked at you and went, there's something fishy about that. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And there was, you said, what are you talking about?
Mysterio's still a good guy.
In the eyes of the universe, he's a good guy.
No. I mean, like, as far as we're along the story. So, at this point, Mysterio's still a good guy, or at least everyone thinks he's still a good guy. So then we get to the bar scene with him and Peter. And he's talking to Peter about everything, and then Peter gives him Edith.
Oh. Big mistake.
Big
mistake. And Edith is the pair of glasses that Tony Stark passed down to him.
Edith is
that pretty much controls all of the technology that Tony Stark
left pretty much.
But why? Here's what I didn't understand.
Way to go there, Pete.
Why wasn't it given to Pepper?
Because Pepper's not going to be a superhero.
Or somebody else in the Avengers other than a kid.
I think because Tony trusted Peter, and I think you should just shut the...
And I think Tony was like... I think Tony knew that Peter was going to be the future.
But yeah. Tony had good intentions.
That kid just wanted to enjoy his summer vacation.
So, he's a superhero. Bitch, please, you've been to space.
The best line in the movie.
That was my favorite.
Well, Nick Fury said it.
Yeah. So So let's. The next thing that happens is Mysterio turns out to be a bad guy. Now, I want to talk about the amazingness that was the Mysterio CGI hallucination scene.
So
my!
Before it
God.
happened, you looked at me and said, "This is about to be one of the greatest scenes you've ever watched."
And
you
it
were
was,
not
wasn't
wrong.
it?
Not wrong at all.
Yeah, I actually. Well, the second time I saw the movie was with George, and as soon as that scene was coming on, I looked over at him and I was like, "Listen, you need to pay attention. This is about to be one of the greatest scenes you're ever going to see in a superhero movie," and it gives me the willies when I think of it. It's such a good scene, for real.
It really was great. From the moment he went to go tell Nick what was going on to the end of that scene.
Yeah.
Getting hit by a train.
Yeah, was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then the next scene is one of, if not the most heartwarming scenes that has happened. It's when he builds his suit. When he's building his suit.
When he says, "All right, I'm gonna step up."
Yeah.
Happy gives him the
And
talk.
then Happy goes, "I'll get the music." And then they play that song. And then he goes, "I love Led Zeppelin."
that was another great
Iconic.
line.
Absolutely iconic. But then he saves the day and all is well, and he and MJ kiss and everything's cool.
No. Can we talk about how MJ basically called him out and said, "You're Spider-Man"?
Yeah,
She was kind of joking, but
she
kind of not.
totally got it.
I
Like,
love the when Ned was like, or when Peter tells Ned that he told her, and she's like, "No, I figured it out."
Yeah, and then Ned's like, "Well, I've known longer. It's not a competition."
Yeah,
but
not a competition or anything.
I love it, and I love their dynamic altogether. But let's talk about the end credit scenes now. Foof.
I have a thing about that because I'm a little agitated that I didn't. I thought it, but I didn't say it. But now I'm going to say it because go ahead and tell them. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, so the end credit scene. We start with they're swinging through the city. MJ and Peter are, and they're swinging through the city, and then they touch down. And MJ is like, "Okay, I'm never doing that again." And like, it's like not the reaction you expect, but like it is.
I still thought it was cute.
It's the reaction you expect out of this version of MJ, and I loved that. They're really staying true to this version of MJ, and it's a completely different version than what we're used to, and I love that.
And thank goodness because we've
seen MJ before.
Yes.
But we haven't seen this MJ before. Thank God. Now, the fact that
They got him, boys.
they got it.
They really
the
did
fact
it.
that they got
did it.
J.K.
They
Simmons
did
to
it.
play J. Jonah Jameson again blew my mind. But yeah, he played J. Jonah Jameson, and he said, "Mysterio will go down in history as one of, if not the greatest superhero of all time." And I was like, "Oh God, this is where the Spider-Verse starts. This is how it starts." But then they threw a curveball at me, and they announced Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
They said it to everybody.
Mysterio.
Here's how I thought about that a lot, and here's how it definitely can still work in this universe because you've got something like S.H.I.E.L.D., which can help keep all of, Peter's friends and family safe and keep him safe.
Sure.
So you've got that to fall back on. But then you've also got just the interesting because in the movies, we've never seen a world where everyone knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So it's going to be
But let's
very.
think about
I
this,
can't
though.
wait to
How
see
many
it.
people do you think are honestly going to believe that Peter Parker is a 16-year-old high school kid?
At least everyone who was on the trip with him.
Oh yeah,
Because of the Night Monkey.
I think they might have a hard time believing that. But
I think Flash Thompson definitely won't believe it.
I think I honestly disagree there. I think he is going to be one of the people that definitely believes it.
You think he's going to 180 on Peter?
I think... No. I think he's going to get on Peter's side.
That's what I mean. Like, he's going to wait at 180 and be friends with
I
Peter.
think he is going to be friends with Peter from now on, and I think that's how we are going to be introduced to Agent Venom.
I love Ancient Venom, and I think he'd be a great introduction if they can do him right.
I don't think we've ever had a good version of Venom in a movie, so I'm really excited to see a good one.
Yeah, well, I mean, Spider-Man 3 Venom was pretty dope. I think Topher Grace was fantastic casting.
I think he was a great Eddie Brock.
yeah,
I don't think the Venom was good at all.
I think the chick who played Gwen was hot as hell.
I disagree.
Who was it?
I don't know what her
I don't
name
even
was.
remember.
She was hot. She was blonde. Remember when she's getting the photos taken?
Yeah, I can see her. I just can't remember her name.
I don't know what her name. Hold on.
We're supposed to be professionals.
No, we're not. No, but I definitely really enjoyed this movie. But let's talk about the secondary end credit scene, the one that was completely wild. And the second time I watched the movie, it's a
different experience.
It's the reason why I was watching a completely different movie than George was watching, because he was seeing it for the first time. Nick Fury and Maria Hill were
Not
Skrulls.
Nick Fury and Maria Hill.
Yeah, they were Skrulls the entire movie.
What were they named? Talos?
It was Talos and
whatever his wife's
the
name
lady
was.
one.
The
But
lady
here's my gripe about the whole
The
situation.
one without the penis.
The reason I realized when I started realizing that I thought it might not be Maria Hill, I wasn't sure about Nick, but Maria Hill, Talos played Fury flawlessly, I think, because he went out of his way to make Spider-Man feel like shit.
I tell you what, there were a couple times, I really can't remember any lines where I was just like, I remember a few moments where I was like, this Nick Fury is like a little, I didn't think it was a different Nick Fury, I just thought it was a really weird, I just didn't think they read
The
him very
Captain
well.
Marvel line. When he goes, Doctor Strange, and they go off-world, and he goes, Captain Marvel, and he goes, don't you dare speak her name. I'm like, ooh, okay there.
But see,
okay,
here's where I thought that Maria Hill wasn't Maria Hill. When they're talking about the elementals,
Yeah.
and she's like, she doesn't believe it.
Oh, yeah.
After-
yeah, that's right.
after
yeah,
all
because
this-
I think I said to you after that, I was like, in this universe, you're saying you don't believe
Exactly.
something happened?
Exactly. Because I'm like, after all the shit you've seen, you literally watch people turn to dust.
I think that she turned to dust.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that,
Maria Hill did.
Yeah. The thing that I was one pet peeve I have with movies in general, or just anything in general, is when people are like, oh, I just can't believe this is happening. Because a lot of times nowadays, that's not believable. Because, I mean, everyone's seen movies and everybody knows... Everybody's seen crazy zombie movies, so everyone wouldn't be surprised when they see a zombie.
Right. So let's, the Skrulls. Where do you think they're going with that scene?
Home. They're driving home.
I think that's where they're going, trying to get back to their home planet.
Yeah, driving back. Well, I genuinely can't. I still haven't seen Captain Marvel, so I really don't know much about how they are in the universe.
They're the good people in the universe, as far as we know.
Okay.
And the Kree are kind of like the bad guys.
Can I say something, though? I feel like...
You always ask me that, and then you just say it anyway.
Yes.
I feel like...
So you're on timeout.
Fury was too relaxed.
Yeah.
He does seem very... Well, I mean, when you're dead for 5 years.
I am kind of confused about that scene.
Because that seemed a little too chill for him, if that makes sense.
They just have him on like 40 different hallucinogens.
Well, I'm thinking... I personally think they're going the Secret Wars route, and I think that they're going to make the Skrulls the good guys and the Kree the bad guys.
Which I think would be good.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think it's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Kree's the bad guys.
Okay, so now that we've pretty much summed up the entire plot of the movie, let's get into our top 5 of this episode. Your top 5 favorite Spider-Man villains.
Top 5.
We're going to make that a real sound effect.
Yeah, please do. I was about to say, that's not very good.
But, Tonray, you start.
Number 5?
Just start with them. Just do your...
Am I doing my top 5, or we just...
Yeah, your top 5. Do your 5.
Okay.
Also, I want to show you a picture that was just released by Official Marvel. Jeffrey Dean Morgan in a Kraven costume with the title Spider-Man Home Hunted.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
That'd be dope. I'd like that. All right. Number 5. I'm not going to give you these in any particular order, but my top 5, not in any order. Mr. Negative.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Where's he at? Mysterio.
For sure.
I don't want to go with the traditional route, but
Do it.
Craven.
I think you and I have the same favorite.
Same number one?
Yes, I believe so. I know we've talked about it before.
I don't want to say just one specific Osborn, but I feel like the Osborn family.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then it's a toss-up between Venom or Carnage.
Okay. All right, cool. George, let's hear him.
My top 5?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so number 5, definitely Sandman.
Okay.
Purely because of how great he is in Spider-Man 3.
Oh,
really, he's the only reason I could actually go back and watch that movie.
Okay.
Number 4 would definitely have to be Shockmaster, just because it's so much fun to kick his ass in video games.
You mean Shocker?
Shocker, yeah, no, Shockmaster. Oh, I'm thinking of something completely different.
I was wondering who that was.
No, that's something else. Let's see. Number 3 would definitely have to be Green Goblin.
Okay.
Purely, it's
Norman Osborn Green
Norman
Goblin?
Osborn
Okay.
Green Goblin. I think that it's a classic.
Yeah.
I think he's just a classic villain.
See, I couldn't pick one. That's why I went with just the Osborn family.
And then my number 2 would definitely have to be Kingpin.
Okay.
It was
Kingpin's
well,
a good one.
honestly, my number 2 and my number 1 could flip back and forth on any day.
Sure.
Because Kingpin's a fantastic villain, and then you've also got my number 1, Doc Ock.
Okay.
Doc
It's
Ock
just,
is
I mean,
dope.
Otto Octavius is a good villain. All right, I'll do my top 10. So mine are a little non-traditional because there are some Spider-Man villains that I physically retch when I hear that they are getting announced in a movie, or if I hear that they're in comics or something. I actually
Can you just say who they are real
Venom
quick?
and Carnage. I hate Venom and
You don't
Carnage.
like them?
I hate them.
Why?
There's
Why specifically?
the same reason I hate the Joker. He's way too overplayed.
Yeah.
They milk the... I'm keeping this podcast PG, this episode specifically. They milk the frick out of Venom
the
and
frickin'
Carnage.
darn out of him.
It's because they think that fans want more of this character, so they keep using him. No, we just want one good iteration of the character and then stop. Just like how they're making the Joker movie this year that doesn't need to be made. Do I think it's going to be good? Yes, because Joaquin Phoenix is an amazing actor. However, I don't think the Joker movie even needs to be made because, first of all, Heath Ledger's Joker, good enough. Stop doing the character.
Could have ended it there.
Batman has so many different villains, as does Spider-Man. Stop using the same one.
We could go on for an entire length of a podcast episodes of great villains
Oh my God,
that Batman has that have never been in movies.
Give me Polka Dot Man. Give me Wicked Witch of the West. Give me Kite Man.
Condiment King.
Condiment King. I don't care. Give me a stupid villain. Don't give me the Joker again. I don't want to see the Joker. I don't really want to see Two-Face. And I kind of don't want to see the Penguin, my favorite villain of all time. I kind of don't want to see him anymore because Robin Lord Taylor's version was way better than any version I've ever seen. Danny DeVito did a great job.
Fantastic job.
But Robin Lord Taylor's version is my personal favorite.
He was
Just
very
like
good.
how the actor, I can't remember his name, he played Norman Osborn,
William Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe. He did a great job of that character.
He did.
And then
I
there's
would love-
James Franco.
I would love to
Hey.
see... I would,
Leave him be.
Effing
I would
James
really
Franco.
love to see that character in the MCU. However, I'm comfortable if he's not in the MCU.
Give it some time.
Give me Electro. Give me Roger... give me...
And not
Hobgoblin.
Electro.
Well, I mean,
not after Amazing
I'm
Spider-Man
just saying,
2.
like, give me a Chameleon, give me Sandman.
Chameleon would be nice.
Or Rhino, you know? I don't want to see Venom ever again. And they're making a trilogy out of him? Come on.
You know, I think if they were to make Rhino into the MCU, they still have to cast Paul Giamatti like they did in The Amazing Spider-Man
With that
2.
horrible Russian accent.
Oh my god.
I think Brock Lesnar would make a great Rhino.
That would be interesting.
That's my
That would be
favorite thing that I
fantastic.
fan-casted. Brock Lesnar as the Rhino.
I would love that.
I would love it, yeah. No, but my top 5 favorite Spider-Man villains, number 5, Tombstone.
Tombstone.
I love Tombstone. Number 4, I bet you can guess what it is.
Is it Mysterio?
Chameleon.
Was it one that you just named?
Come on, you know what it is. Come on.
Drawing a blank.
Come on.
Just say it.
It's Jackal.
Jackal. Is it Jackal?
It's Jackal.
Oh, it's Jackal.
No, it really is Jackal.
Jackal's a good villain.
Yeah, it really, really is Jackal. And then number 3, and I can't really pick one, but I really like the whole of the Sinister Six. Like the original Sinister Six. The animal, not the original, I'll say, but the animal-based Sinister Six.
So Scorpion,
Rhino, Dr. Octopus,
Vulture,
Kraven the Hunter, and Chameleon. Yeah, good team. Number 3, Venom. No, I'm kidding. I hate Venom. Number 3, because he was originally a Spider-Man villain, Juggernaut.
Really?
Yes, I love Juggernaut. Like, I really, really like Juggernaut.
He is a fantastic character.
Number 2...
I'm the Juggernaut, biatch.
Number 2, Dr. Octopus.
Dr. Octopus.
Because of his because of his iteration in the movie and how amazingly he was cast and portrayed. And my number 1...
he's great in the video game, too.
Yes, and my number 1 for the same reason... Mysterio.
Mysterio is
I love me some Mysterio because Jake Gyllenhaal made me love me some Mysterio.
I knew Jake Gyllenhaal was going to be great. I love that man.
Oh yeah, he was going to be amazing. I do think they could have used him as another character though. I do think he was perfect for Mysterio, but I think
it is a shame that he is going to be in only one Marvel movie.
Oh, I don't think he's dead.
Okay, can I say something?
I don't think
he totally died.
I don't think Mysterio is dead.
You don't think he's dead?
I don't think he's
dead. I think he is. I think that the guy who took the USB out of the computer when he died is going to make a new Mysterio. Use the program and come up with a new Mysterio.
And pick up the...
Pick up where he left off?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy...
I don't hate that theory.
I don't think that guy specifically will be Mysterio.
Oh, I think he could.
He could. But can we take a second to just
appreciate the fact that they used the same guy?
Well, no, not that. Can we take a step back and appreciate the fact that the two guys, main characters from Brokeback Mountain, turned out to be two of the most iconic roles in villain history? That's blowing my mind.
It is.
Like
the fact that they were in Brokeback Mountain, or the fact that they were low budget actors and now they're genius actors.
Yes.
Awesome.
That is the answer.
Yes. Yes.
No. Spider-Man Far Away From Home to me is amazing, and the cool thing about it is they went away from storylines that they could have done,
yes,
but chose not to. Like they could have added Gwen Stacy.
Thank God they didn't.
What they could have done and been real sneaky.
Big agree.
Thank God they didn't.
What they could have been sneaky about was added in Manchester Black when they were in London.
Ooh, that would have been a good.
That would have been dope. Oh, that would have been sneaky. Like somehow snuck him in there.
Or Captain Britain. Just have him in an elevator.
Tom and I were talking about this earlier.
We've been talking about this all day.
Yeah.
So here's how they could have done it, or here's how I would have done it. So you've got Tom Holland, and they're all in an elevator, a glass elevator, going down, and they kind of peek over to the left, and there's another glass elevator going up, and you just see Captain Britain pretty much mimicking the fight scene that Captain America had in the elevator. He's doing the same thing.
That would have been
And they don't even acknowledge it. Like, you just kind of see it for a second, and then it's done.
I think
kind of like how they snuck in the entire cast of X-Men on Deadpool 2.
That was fantastic.
I think Henry Cavill would be an amazing Captain Britain.
Yes, absolutely.
We were talking about this earlier. I was like, I really, really hope they add Henry Cavill in as Captain Canada. Captain Britain. And then I got to thinking, and I was like, Tonry, do you know who Captain Canada is? Now, George, do you know who Captain Canada is?
I do not, but it sounds familiar.
Hop, 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 my good boy. Let's tell a story. We've got 6 minutes left. I can tell the Captain Canada story in probably 30 seconds. So, Captain Canada, there was a series of comics, or a series of stories, I should say, where Wolverine quit the Avengers. And he went and joined the Great Lakes Avengers.
No way.
They gave him a new suit, and it was Captain Canada.
They made Wolverine
James
Captain
Howlett
Canada.
Was Captain Canada. He wore the mask one time. I'll show you a picture. He wore the mask one time and then never wore it again. I'm actually going to throw up a Captain Canada picture with the next SuperStuff podcast, like with this podcast. It was in a What If story, but this is Captain Canada.
Oh my god. I tell you what, the costume really doesn't look as bad as I thought it would,
But yeah, that's Captain Canada, and it was Wolverine. He was a member of the Great Lakes Avengers briefly, and he even got his own, like they even acknowledged it in the Superhero Squad movies, Superhero Squad TV show.
Oh my god,
he was
it's beautiful.
in that as that, and it's...
I'd love to think that the Great Lakes Avengers are just like there's a huge thing going on, like
I have the first
like
issue if you want to read it.
15 miles down the road, and they're like, oh, but it's not near the Great Lakes, so we can't do anything.
There's something messed up in Detroit, but
yeah, they're like, we can't. Sorry, guys.
I'm calling now.
Hey, could you come closer to the lake, please?
Could you come closer to Lake Erie? It's in Brown Stadium. We're good. Let's get it.
Let's hit it.
Okay, we're about out of time. Be sure to go check out the rest of our podcasts if you haven't listened to any in the past. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are going to be having our first ever Nerds of the Galaxy meetup coming up soon, so please keep a lookout for some information on that. This podcast is actually getting uploaded in about 10 minutes as soon as we're done recording this. So thank you very much again for listening in. As always, I'm White Panther.
I'm Captain African America.
And I'm one of the stormtroopers from one of the scenes in Star Wars. Good luck finding me.
And thank you for listening to Super Stuff.